now I'm looking for vendors. Remember, this happened on a Wednesday when my vendor told me that the designer made a mistake and I would have to pay more to get exactly what I signed off of, or take what they're going to give me. I'm not taking what you're going to give me. So I got my money back. And so I look for vendors in America. This is a Wednesday. I'm at the farmer's market looking for vendors and trying to sell price at the same time. And I remembered again why I went to Alibaba, because American prices are too much for what I want my profit margin to be. And so that was a Wednesday. Wednesday, I'm all looking at American prices, American companies. Thursday, I'm back on Alibaba. I go to Alibaba. I message probably 3 times as much vendors as I did the first time, because now I don't have time to play with nobody's child. I need a vendor. I need a solid vendor. I need a solid vendor now. I ended up finding my vendor that I have now. And the reason why I say it's always a reason for everything and God got me is because the vendor that I found that I'm using now gave me double the bags for almost $400 less, with a shorter production time and cheaper shipping times, or smaller shipping times, in a cheaper shipping cost. So the first vendor is going to give me 1,500 bags. The second vendor that I'm working with now give me 3,000 bags for less. So the first vendor price per bag was 78 cents. This vendor price per bag was 28 cents. Okay. So I was like, okay. And I found that vendor that Thursday. I found out the vendor, my first vendor wasn't it Wednesday. So less than 24 hours later, God was working. God was already working. So I sent my designs over. The bags was completed within a week, but my photo shoot timeline was ruined because the bags was not going to come in time. The bags were scheduled to come in time, but the bags were scheduled to come in 2 days after my photo shoot. And as well as the clothes that I brought for my photo shoot, they were scheduled to come in around the same date. It ended up working out. I was upset. I was really upset. I was like checking like DHL every single second. I was like, ooh, did it get past customs? But it was never going to come in on time. That was too much of a short notice, right? And one of my friend who was going to model with me, because I decided to step out of my shell and be the face of my brand, she offered up her house to do the photo shoot, and she has a beautiful house. That week became a little bit uncertain to actually do the photo shoot at her house, because I just did not feel comfortable with having her house plastered all over social media. And before then, I also planned on making the labels myself. So I brought a printer, I brought blank labels, and I was gonna make the labels myself for the body washes, the oils, and the body butters, right? Printed it out, but it just another issue. The labels could get dirty, and so how am I gonna have this beautiful, elegant, high-class body care line that caters to all your body needs, but the labels can get dirty? They wasn't like they couldn't get like extremely dirty, but you could see like marks on it, and I did not want that. And I was like, what am I going to do? So long story short, the photo shoot did not happen. And then she wanted to do it the next week, but I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with these labels? And so I started Googling labels or YouTubing labels, how to make labels, homemade labels, or how to make professional looking labels at home. And that was just too much work. Like, you got to do the things that I was seeing, printing paper and then laminate and then cutting it out with a circuit. That's too much. And I was like, okay, well, since the photo shoot is not going to happen at this present moment, let me go back to Martha, and I want a different design for the body washes. And that was all on me. And so she ended up making a longer label for the body washes, and I went to my vendor and I sent my vendor all the labels for label designs for my labels, and my vendor is amazing. They made 3,000 labels, right? For just, it was, I think the price per label was like 11 cents. Like, beautiful labels. The labels labels was getting designed beautifully. But here's the kicker, and here's what I want people to learn from me, from my mistake. So throughout all those revisions and all those changes of time periods and deadlines, right? I ordered all these labels and all these bags. I did not have a plan together of how I was going to relaunch all of these products, right? I just knew I was going to, and I was just so excited that I did not come up with a plan. And so I ordered all these labels, and then I came up with the plan with my mentor of how I was going to launch all of these products. And after we talked for a little bit, and I sat back and figured out, okay, like what makes sense for me, I realized that some of these products probably are not going to get launched, because we're halfway at the year now, aren't going to get launched until next year. And so I brought all of these labels, 3,000 labels, for what? For them to not be used, for some of them to not be used until next year. So please learn from my mistakes. Have a strategic plan together before you go out here ordering because you're excited, because you want to meet deadlines, because you want to do X, Y, and Z. Relax, calm down, sit down, draw up a plan before you start ordering stuff, because you're going to end up wasting money at the present moment. You would gain it back hopefully in the future, but there's no need for me to make all those labels. Thankfully, the price per label was really low, and the price per bag was really low. That is not that much of a hurt, but if you're a cheap person, or if you count your money like I do, you're just like, yeah, that was not needed. So learn from my mistakes, do better than me. Okay, this is the reason why I'm recording this, because there were a lot of mistakes that I could have avoided.